And I thought it would be kind of cool to examine just a culture that I'm certain that nobody knows about, so you can explore using those tools of critical thinking. Because I think as you, especially Ryan, as you go forward with your college career, and Kendall, these will come in handy with whatever your course of studies is going to be. I think, especially in today's world, it is really easy to pick at the things that make everybody different. And I think it's a lot more difficult to find those things that we can connect to. And I think that's kind of what this class has been about, using art as the excuse to find those points of connection. Now, for the rest of the term, I am hoping that people will get their stuff done and turned in. Do you guys remember what I said was the last point where everything can be turned in?
Was it the 8th?
No, Friday at midnight, next Friday. So the last Friday of uh, finals at midnight. And if you guys need more time, just let me know, and I will do whatever I can to give you guys as much time as absolutely possible.
That's even
When
better
are
than
you
the 8th.
when are you grading everything? Because I turned in like pretty much everything and it has not been graded. So I don't know like what my true grade is right now.
I have been grading the last 5 days. There, a lot of people have decided to turn in everything all at once. Hey, Leah, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. So I have been in the process of grading, and I think most people will see that things are getting here and there getting graded. But I am going to try to get everything done by tomorrow night that's been turned in, and if and definitely by the first day of finals. And Tuesday we're also going to do another Teams meeting. It's not mandatory at all. It is only extra credit. And so if you show up for that, you get 8 points. And if you watch it later and do the three things you learned, you get 5 points. And that is just extra credit. It's not, nobody's going to be, excuse me, excuse me. They're all going to be extra points for that. And that's next Tuesday. The final, Ryan had asked me earlier this week if I would reconsider, because he really likes the quizzes and he wanted to have a quiz with that was worth 200 points. But I said I really didn't feel like I wanted to do that. But he insisted. So I'm putting together a special 200-point quiz just for Ryan because he wanted that so badly. That's a lie, by the way. Hey, Casey.
How's it going?
All right. No, I hope that doesn't really hurt anybody's feelings, that I don't want to do a quiz. The final is going to be several just reflection questions that I want you guys to look at. And I'm going to send that out on Monday. And you'll just send those, answer those, and send those to me again by next Friday at midnight. Okay, so that is Friday the 16th at midnight.
There's more to the final project than just what was given to us?
No, that's not a final project. That's the final. And there's going to be 3 questions. And that's, I'm supposed to do a final. I have to do a final. And that's what the final is.
Okay,
Unless
thank
you want
you.
to do more. Kendall, if you really want to do more, I am happy to accommodate
Good.
that.
I am still trying to catch up, so
Oh,
I'm good.
That reminds me, I forgot to tell you guys, Kendall wanted to do a video of herself doing an interpretive dance for that final project. And I thought that is so exciting. So that'll be very cool to see. That is also a lie. I wanted to also, I don't want to be here very long because I know you guys are super busy, but I wanted to make myself available so you guys could answer questions, or so you guys could ask questions about the final research project and the final art project that we are working on. In the other class, people are making sports equipment. They're making clay and things like that. But it's all stuff that is derived from things that they have in their apartment. I do not want anybody to spend any more than they already have. I don't want you to go out and get anything more than you already have. So everybody in their apartment, if you want to do clay, look for recipes of clay that accommodate the materials that you already have. Like I would go for like a salt clay where it's primarily flour and salt. Or if you want to do paper mache clay and you have Elmer's glue and flour, you could do that. Nice muscles, Casey. You could do that as well. Or I was telling one of the students, you can take and tear up just pieces of printer paper, about 30 sheets of printer paper. If you tear it up into 1/2-inch squares and then soak them overnight in water, that'll give you something that is about like a spitball consistency, and you can use that kind of like clay. And once it dries, it will crack a little bit, but once it dries, you can paint it and things like that as well. So there's lots of different kinds of things that you can do that are going to be just the materials that you already have in your home or apartment already. Okay. If you have watercolor paints and it snows, which it probably isn't going to snow in St. George, but if you go up to Pine Valley or Navajo Lake, go up at some place where there might be a little bit of snow, maybe that could even be something that you work on as a project. And then find different ways of making a non-toxic dye for the snow. You can make that out of Kool-Aid. Do they even make Kool-Aid anymore? Do you guys know what Kool-Aid is? Okay, if you mix Kool-Aid at about double strength, so half as much water as you normally use, you can use a spray bottle and stuff and use that to color the snow and make a sculpture that way if you want to. And I would pretty much guarantee that 90% of the old Mali Empire did not have an awful lot of snow. They didn't make ice houses. They did go and pick up ice every once in a while, but not very often. And for the, have you guys seen the PowerPoints that I've already put on our YouTube channel? There's been a couple that people have turned in that I've put on that are really good examples. And I also sent everybody a link to a page for one of my other classes that shows several different examples of the PowerPoint presentation, except theirs were a little bit longer than what yours are going to be. Do you guys remember how many slides yours are going to be? And how long? Yeah, eight slides at the very, very most. Oh, well, yes, for you. Absolutely. No, for, I would say do less than 8 slides, 8 slides or less. You could do 1 slide for each of your citations, 1 slide to introduce the artist, and the last slide would be all your citations without the annotations, just the resource links that you have. So that's 7 slides. You could easily do that. If you go over 10 minutes, you fail. So it has to be shorter than 10 minutes. I say that now because one of my classes, one person went for over half an hour. Another person went for 14 minutes. And that is just awful. I don't want anybody to do that. 2, 3, 4 minutes is great. Okay, so please don't do much longer than that. Except Kendall, she told me she was really serious about that interpretive dance thing. If she wants to do that, that'll be great. All right, do you guys please hit me with questions about your final project and anything else that you have in mind.
I just wanted to clarify for the final project. It's just so we're using materials that the Mali Empire would use.
No, it's something. it's something that you think should have existed in the Mali Empire that didn't, and you're using materials that you have at home that so that you don't have to go out and get anything, but do what you can to make it look like the Mali Empire built it. Okay, it doesn't have to be those materials; just it has to look like it belongs there. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, excellent. Next question. If you can't think of a question for your own project because you are so incredibly smart, you have everything under control, try to conjecture as to what another student might have a question about.
How long did you want it to take us?
Well, I thought this is going to be almost 2 weeks, and I was thinking a couple hours for research and then several hours to put it together. And if you are going to set aside 3 hours for research, you'll use that to troll the internet, to use that to come up with your ideas and brainstorm. And if you're going to do 7, 8, 9 hours to put it together, then count, if you're going to go out to a park and build something outside, count your travel time for that. If you're going to sketch up in your sketchbook, count that. If you're going to experiment and make some salt dough clay, count that time as well. Okay, does that help? All right, now we're waiting for a question from Casey, Kendall, or Megan.
How big does this shit need to be?
That's a good
It needs to be gigantic.
question.
Oh, Ryan, your microphone's on.
Oh. Yeah, how big does it need to be?
Whatever justifies the amount of time that you're putting into it.
Okay.
I'm thinking an A is going to look like you spent about 8, 9 hours. And if it is small, it should be detailed. If it's large, not so much. If you are going to be making food for your project, just consider about how many courses and things like that is going to justify that amount of time. If you're going to be making a snow sculpture for 9 hours, it's going to be a lot bigger than if you're doing tooled leather. Okay. All right, Megan, do you have a question? Or Casey?
I was just gonna ask, so for the sketchbooks, we just have to submit 35 pictures of them onto a PDF?
35 entries, and several students who have been turning that in, they've opened up their sketchbook, taken photos of the pages, and just put those photos of the pages into a PDF and submit that. And that seems to be a pretty easy way to do it. And you may have anywhere from 3 to 5 entries on those 2 pages that you take a picture of. Okay. So again, it's just 35 entries, 2/3 of which are sketches or scribbles or drawings, and 1/3 of which are your notes to sort out what you're thinking. Okay. All right,
Are on the sketchbooks, we're not going to be graded on how good our sketches are, right?
you're going to be graded for doing 35 entries. Okay. 35 entries, 24 sketches, and 11 11 notes, basically. Okay. All right, Kendall, you're the last one. What's your question?
You may have already said this, but I I kind of wasn't listening. Is one sentence, is one page an entry, or can you have 6 different drawings on one page and that's 6 different entries?
In my sketchbook, sometimes I'll have a drawing covering 2 pages. Most of the time, I'll have a whole bunch of little drawings. So a bunch of little drawings is just fine. I am hoping that you've been doodling in this over the course of the term. And if multiple drawings or notes are
Yeah.
on one page, that's fine.
Oh,
Those are really good
so I
questions.
don't have to go into that.
No, not unless you really want to. All right. Is that everybody's questions? Is there anything that you could think of that other students might have concerns about? I have gotten a couple emails from people asking questions about the final project and stuff, and I've tried to be helpful. If you go through and just read those modules, that really helps answer a lot of questions. One thing that I've noticed in other classes I've done is that people will go right to the assignment and not bother reading anything else. And what I really appreciate about you guys is I am noticing that more often than not, you are actually going through the module before you get there. And so the questions that I'm getting are actually really good questions when people email them to me. So is everybody good? Do you guys have a pretty good idea of what's going on? Okay, I will say once again, next Tuesday, it's extra credit points only for attendance. If you show up, you get 8 points on the day at the moment that we're doing it. And if you watch it later, you get 5 points. And that's just extra credit for attendance, okay? All right. If you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to say you have an absolutely awesome week. And I told her I wasn't going to say anything, but I can't help it. Leah was telling me earlier how excited she was for finals, and she just wished that it would last 2 weeks instead of only one. And I know that that is true for all of you. So if you just count as slowly as possible, the finals will take longer, and you'll feel like you'll feel more rewarding because it'll feel like it's lasting forever. So one way to look at it. Actually, Leah never said anything like that. I just made that up. I do want you guys to be mindful. Finals can be really stressful. It is not a bad thing to take a nap every once in a while, and it is not a bad thing to just relax and decompress. I don't want you guys getting stressed out. Our final is going to be incredibly easy to do. I do not want you to worry about it. You're not going to have to study for it. I'm just asking you questions for your opinion, and that's it. All right? So do not worry about it. If you need extra time past Friday, next Friday, let me know, and I'll do what I can, as much as I can. Okay? If you guys do feel that you're getting really stressed out of your gourds, contact the accommodations office as soon as you can, and they will be happy to work with you. Okay? All right, guys. You have a good time. And I will see you after next weekend, hopefully. If you have any questions, email me, and I will do whatever I can to help. Okay? All right. Thank you, guys. And we will see you
Bye.
later.